All right. Well, let's jump into our main movie review, The Plague.
Have you seen this?
Have you seen this?
Have you seen this?
I know, I've seen this. I know this.
Adrian, do you have our letterbox
I
description ready to go?
I'm so curious to hear what this is.
The Plague, 2025, directed by Charlie Polinger. A socially awkward tween endures the ruthless hierarchy at a water polo camp, his anxiety spiraling into psychological turmoil over the summer.
So this movie, Charlie Polinger, as you mentioned, wrote and direct, and this is his first feature film. The two lead actors, Everett Blunk and K.O. Martin, as well as Kenny Rasmussen, who plays Eli, all their first film. So just off the bat, I want to know what you guys think, but I will say this does not feel like a first-time filmmaker, the way certain scenes are executed, the way the performances come off as kids. But Adrian, you'd kick it off. I'm really curious to see what you thought about this movie because it's not necessarily a horror, but there are some interesting things going on creatively. So what did you think of The Plague?
I enjoyed sitting and watching it. It was definitely predictable. Once you kind of got the premise of what was going on, it I went in thinking it was like a metaphor, which I guess it kind of still is. Spoiler free. I think it was more like um, a plague of a society or a plague of kids, like plague of emotions. But it was somewhat physical. In and in that I wanted more. Like, okay, if you're gonna make an actual physical thing, like I got lots of questions. I got lots of issues with why are these kids like we'll get into spoilers, like why they're by themselves. Like how is there
Mm,
a
mm.
whole team and one coach? And if it's
Yeah.
like an overnight camp or like a boarding school, like I got some issues. And maybe it's a cultural thing. There was one brown kid on the entire team. Uh,
There's a couple. There's a couple.
sure. I think there was
Well,
only one.
it's more than
I
one.
think it was one. Uh, from what I counted.
Okay.
So it was enjoyable, but I left a lot of holes, and I don't
Hmm.
know. It could
Okay.
have been better.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Erica, what did you think about the movie?
I'm definitely gonna agree with Adrian on the predictable thing. Like that's a very, very, very predictable movie. Um, and I wonder if that is because we've been around kids maybe more than you have, Michael. Like, I used to work with high school students. Adrian has his own kids. So I don't maybe that's just because, like, we've seen that firsthand a little bit more and have had to, like, navigate that. I'm not sure, but it's definitely predictable on, like, how the boys, were gonna kinda go about this. However, I'd like to applaud the boys who were acting in this film because it's really hard. I mean, we've said it before in other movies as well. It's very hard to encapsulate like how preteens and teenagers act. I mean, if you ask me, and I listen to another podcast that talks about this often, but preteens and teenagers are like the scariest human beings ever. They have no shame. They are great at bullying. They know exactly where to dig their claws in. Um,
Quite
so
literally.
it's quite literally, but I think it's just like very brilliant for these kids to be able to do it and encapsulate that and, like, have these real emotions. I mean, I had flashbacks, like, I was
For
like,
sure.
"Oh, like, don't like that. Remember
Yeah.
scenarios like that." So, I think that's where Adrian does like, that predictability of it. It's like, okay, like, you kinda already know where this is gonna go. These are boys, like, it's gonna be
Mm,
exactly down
mm.
this alley, and it was but like I said, to be able to capture that, I think the boys that they hired for this film did a wonderful job.
Yeah, the acting's superb. I'm really curious when you guys say predictable, if you're talking about just like that kids are assholes and like bullying is the worst, or are you talking about like the story structure? And again, like without giving too much away, is there something like what was the predictable aspect of it?
Like, you
Both.
just I feel like you just kinda, like, knew they were never gonna forgive, what's his nickname? I was just, like,
So,
trying to
Sop Ben, the
Soppy,
man,
right?
Soppy, yeah,
Soppy.
because you can't
Yeah,
say stop. Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
say the T's.
So, I think and this is obviously, like, without spoilers, I think that, like, it was so predictable that they were, like, never gonna forgive him and he was gonna snap at one point.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. I think for me, when you're talking about kids, I think they said they were like 12, 13, so that's like middle school here for us, which is the absolute worst. And it's really interesting a conversation that happens with one of the adults that's played by Joel Edgerton. To Adrian's point, so I watched this twice. I watched this the first time. It was my 300th movie of the year, according to Letterbox. Shout out Letterbox for the milestones. But on the rewatch, I looked and it was my 329th film. So I watched 28 movies between the time I watched that and this. So I wanted to get reassessed. And I think I agree with you guys as far as like the adult supervision. Like we kind of talked about that with Left-Handed Girl.
Like
Like who's watching this
like,
kid, right?
who the fuck? These poor
Yeah,
boys.
I think I said in my first review, like, how many lawsuits are coming by the time the summer's over? You know what I
So
mean? Like
many.
with what's going on
In
there.
a
But
different scenario though, like Left-Handed Girl was out of necessity, like latchkey kids kind of a thing, like,
sure,
poverty, where this is, they're rich and privileged enough to send their kids away
yeah, yeah.
for an 8, 9 week, sport camp.
I have a guest today, a very special guest, to talk about my thoughts around the movie. One of my most favorite characters in all of cinema history, and
Interesting.
so my special guest is the one and only Dirk Diggler, played by Mark Wahlberg in the film Boogie Nights. And I think the song that he sings will give you a little insight to some of my thoughts around the plague.
You got the power. Yeah. After all is said and done, you never walk, you never run, you're a winner. You got to move, you know the streets, break the rules, take the heat, you're nobody's fool. You're at your best when the going gets rough. You've been put to the test, but it's
My God.
you got the touch.
So I love that fucking movie.
Like
So
watching a bad American Idol audition. You just can't look away.
John C. Reilly just dancing in the booth just gets me every time. It's so good. So this kid's got the touch, right? He's got the power. And that could be applied to Jake, who is the bully and kind of the ringleader of all these kids. That can be applied to Ben, who I think represents how kids can be manipulated by the mob mentality, right? There's a part where him and one of the kids, this isn't giving anything away, him and one of the kids are talking about I think Star Wars, and like, oh, I would turn all of them into the good side. Like I would turn them into the good side, Ben is saying. And like as things develop, we kind of see action is louder than words, right? um I think what I really examined on my second time watching was the sound design, the music used, how to, if you guys say predictable, I would say even if that were the case, the way he portrays bullying, manipulation, the specific ways these kids pick on each other, to your point, Erica, was like triggering. It's like
Yeah.
You say something and the comeback is like just repeating exactly what you said, right? Like, like, and how fucking annoying kids can be. You know what I mean?
But he does such that little kid, I'm telling you. He does
For who plays Jake?
yeah. He does such a good job, and he gets that, he does a really good job of getting, like, that mischief in his eyes where, like, is telling you, like, he is going to get pleasure out of bullying you right now. Like, he is going
Right.
to enjoy every single second of this. He did a real like, I was very I was very impressed. I was actually impressed with all of them, but
Yeah.
he did a very good job of being he made it seem as if he might be a shitty little kid in real life, you know what I mean? Like
I'm very fortunate. I'm going to get to talk to the director and Everett and Ko, the two leads of the film. So
yeah.
I definitely am looking forward to that conversation. That'll be coming out later this week. So stay tuned for that. But it's one of those things like this film was perfectly cast for each character, regardless of how they are in real life. The way they were able to portray each role that they were handed was seamless. And to think this is their
Mhm.
first movie. I mean, Adrian, did you feel the acting at least was impressive or
Yeah, for
was
sure. Especially for them being as young as they were. Uh, but in that, I think they're playing like almost like themselves. So
I mean, that's the trick,
Yeah, it
right? Is if you
felt
could
like that,
yeah,
yeah.
if you can convince the audience that you're playing
Mhm.
yourself in a film like this and you're nothing like that, which I hope specifically for Ko, um, adults can't do that. I mean, that's hard for adults to do.
right. But what I'm saying is, it's more of it's kids playing kids. It's not like an adult trying to go back and play
Sure.
or a 25-year-old trying to play a 16, 17-year-old high school kid, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
they're
Sure. Sure.
actual, like, 12, 13-year-old kids playing 12,
AKA the
13-year-old
entire
kids.
cast of Grease.
You're
And
right. Right.
I think it was so triggering and, like, polarizing because you fall into one of the 2 categories. You were either the bully or you were the bullied.
Or both. It could be both.
Sure, but that's
Yeah.
everybody, you know what I mean? Like, there's no person
I
that's
was a
excluded from
middleman.
that, you know what I mean? So, you had to witnessed it, you were part of it, you know?
I won't
It's
say his name, but in the 4th grade, this boy spit on my friend, so I threw him to the ground and I punched him in the face, and my teacher saw the whole thing, but she knew he was, like, a really big bully and he would, like, punch the shit out of my back and, like, kick me and, like, the worst type of fucking person, and I beat his
yeah.
ass one day because he spit on my friend, so I was, like, the middleman, like, I only ever did it
That
if I needed to stick up for other people.
I
Oh.
beat the shit out of the bullies. I was the middleman. I was a peacemaker. I mean, that's the thing. This movie really like takes you back there, and I think this movie takes place in the early like 2000s. To I think Erica's point, like the music selection isn't now.
It's
Like it's not
It was, like,
Yeah, it
2003,
was
right?
so good.
2003, right?
Yeah.
So like for
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like you middle school, right? What? How old were you in 2003?
6th
Oh,
grade, 5th
Do
grade,
you
right?
wanna know?
you're like 9 or
She was
something.
I
fighting
was
this
in the
bully in
3rd
4th
grade,
grade.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Third grade. Wow.
I
Okay,
was
so
in the
this
3rd grade.
so this takes place like in between us. We were in high school already. You're in the third grade, so like it's a good kind of middle ground. But nonetheless, you see
Mhm.
bullying all through school, and I think to your point, as far as like there's these kids. Like we all remember those kids that were like either big bullies or the kids that like got fucking picked on. And like now, as an adult looking back, it's like fuck, if I knew what I knew now, kind of thing. Like it's just so crazy to think how fucking
Yeah,
horrible kids
yeah.
are. Fuck them kids. You know what I
I'm
mean?
telling you that's what I'm saying, like, preteens and teenagers, they're just a different fucking breed, like and you can rib them back, cause trust me, I, like, won't hold back, I don't give a fuck, like, I don't care if you're a kid, like, you're gonna learn how people talk to each other, and I wanna be the one to tell you.
Sure.
But they're savage, dude, like, I won't even, like, if I say like, "No, just come mind my business, go ahead and talk shit, I don't care," like, just talk shit whatever you wanna say about me, I don't give a shit, like
And it's like the annoying ass things, like okay, or like just all these little specific things these
Yeah.
kids do. And it's even like when it's not even like specifically the main conversation, it's like background conversation, and how they kind of are just making certain little comments, the would you rathers, right? Like so fucking stupid,
Okay, but would you rather
Here we go.
Smash
I know
Mouth
it.
come on every single time
You
or
orgasm.
every single time Smash Mouth comes on?
You
Which one would you do,
orgasm.
I guess?
Yeah, that's tough. I think yeah, I don't know. As
It's
long
a
as I'm
clear and obvious answer, Michael.
Well, Smash Mouth doesn't come on that often. Is that the answer?
I could never watch Shrek again.
To be fair, you probably orgasm anytime that movie's on anyways, at this rate.
But can you stop it, or does it have to play the whole song?
That
Well,
was
that was the
so funny.
question. See, but that's the
So
thing. It's
funny.
like such like kind of things kids think of, right? And then I want to touch a bit on Eli before we get into spoilers. And Eli is essentially the one that's like has the plague. All these kids say that he's got the plague, and haven't you heard? And it becomes like this urban legend about this condition he has. And I want to give him his flowers as well, Kenny Rasmussen, because I think he does such an incredible job being in the moment as that character that you really empathize with him. We also knew kids like that, to an extent, as far as some of his mannerisms. And I thought he just nailed it. I mean, everyone nailed it, even some of the other, kid actors that had smaller parts. Like I want to ask I want to ask the director Charlie, like, how did you cast kids that had such punchable faces? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't condone child abuse, but like these kids are just like out of control.
You're like, if I was your age, little
Punchable
You know?
faces.
I mean, right though? Don't you think, Adrian?
No, I mean, there was one kid that maybe like just his look like annoyed me, but
Who
I know
do you
you're
remember
talking
who?
about.
Or like
he was
describe him?
like let me see on Letterboxd what his character name would have been.
I mean,
It's
the
I know
kid,
because they don't have
exactly which
pictures.
one it is.
I have an idea too, and he didn't necessarily have a big part per se.
Yeah, he was just like a background kid, but he was, tall, slender with like blonde tips on his
The
hair.
bleached
Like,
hair, yeah.
oh man, like
With his
Yeah.
eyebrows done and everything.
For sure. Well, let's jump into spoilers so we can talk a little bit more freely. But before we do that, before I forget, our Commodus scale. Up, down, even. Erica, you kick us off. What do you give the plague?
Yeah, I'm gonna go thumbs up. I think that not only this is, like we said, really great acting, like loved it all around. I think this is an important film to watch. Um it's so tricky though, because like I don't know that I would show this to any 12 and 13-year-olds, because there are some scenes where I'm like,
They're
fuck,
gonna
dude,
get
like
in.
this is like once
They're
we
gonna
get
get
into
in.
spoilers, we could talk about it, but that's pretty traumatizing for me. I
Or
was
that,
like, oh
or that
shit.
they're gonna get inspired. Like
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that's cool, or some crazy
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. Okay, thumbs up from Erica. Adrian, where are you going?
I'm gonna go even. I just had a lot more questions. There's just a few holes that I needed filled.
The parent side of him comes through.
Yeah, like there's
Well,
a lot.
we'll break it
lot
down.
missing.
Let's get into it in spoilers. I'm a thumbs up. I think, again, from a filmmaking standpoint and an acting standpoint, even a lot of the crew I was looking at, this is their first feature film. It doesn't at all feel like that. There's vibes of like The Shining, even. Like, I feel like Kubrick was a big influence on Charlie when he put this movie together. So I look forward to talking to him about that.